This is Economy Watch, what you need to know about New Zealand's economic life today. Brought to you by interest.co.nz.
Kia ora, and welcome to Thursday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz, and today we lead with news of a big call by the US Federal Reserve. First up, you should know that the US Fed cut its benchmark policy rates by 50 basis points to the 4.75 to 5% range, a larger cut than most professional observers had anticipated, but in line with some advanced financial market pricing. And it might be notable that for the first time in almost 20 years, one voting member dissented, preferring only a 25 basis point cut. They say the key to the cut is their greater confidence that inflation is beaten. The Fed's so-called dot plot, which they use to signal its outlook for the path of interest rates, shows that the median 2024 year-end projection for the federal funds rate fell to 4.38%. That implies another 50 basis point cut are coming soon. The median estimate for the end of 2025 decreased to 3.38%. Markets initially reacted with Wall Street rising, commodity prices rising, and the US dollar falling, and the US Treasury bond yields moving relatively little at the long end but dipping at the short end. But conviction in these early market moves seems to be wavering. Of course, the US Fed isn't the first to cut rates in this cycle. We've already seen them from the ECB, Canada and England. And yesterday, Indonesia delivered a surprise rate cut. But now the Fed has moved, and decisively, many others will no doubt follow. Global rates are in a clear easing cycle, now that inflation seems to have been tamed. American mortgage applications leapt 14% last week from a week earlier, the fourth consecutive gain, marking the steepest increase since the 18-month high of almost 17% growth in mid-August. There was a surge in home loan demand as well, which tracked the fall in borrowing costs, with the average interest rate on a benchmark mortgage falling by 14 basis points from the week earlier to a two-year low of 6.15 in the US. And there was a good but not great rise in American housing starts in August. They were up almost 10% from the previous month to an annualized rate of 1.36 million units in the month, firmly above market expectations of 1.31 million units, and rebounding from a near 7% plunge in the previous period. It was the sharpest increase in 9 months. Starts of single-family homes rose nearly 16%. Despite all that, housing starts are still 6.5% below year-ago levels. Japanese exports rose 5.6% from a year ago in August, slowing sharply from a 10.2% rise in July, and falling short of market forecasts of another 10% rise. But it was the 9th successive month of increased export shipments from Japan. In China, and in another sign of worsening tensions, China has blocked a Taiwanese company manager from returning home, essentially kidnapping him at the border. But it is minor compared to the economic signals. Mid-autumn festival mooncake sales were reportedly quite weak. Celebrations didn't deliver the expected boost. In the UK, they delivered another tame inflation result for August. It was unchanged from July at 2.2%, and as markets expected. The largest upward contributions came from almost 12% rise in airfares there, mainly for European destinations. The most significant falls came from petrol and other energy costs. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 3.71% and up 7 basis points from this time yesterday. And the price of gold will start today at $2,575 an ounce and up $9 from yesterday's high to a new all-time high. This price jumped after the Fed decision to almost $2,600, but has since fallen back. Oil prices are down $1 though, at $70.50 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is still just on $73 a barrel. Trading is active post the US Fed, but net movements are lower. And the Kiwi dollar starts today at 62.4 US cents and up 60 basis points from yesterday after the Fed decision, although softening subsequently. Against the Aussie, we're up 20 basis points at 91.8 Australian cents, although that was before the Fed. Against the euro, we're up 30 basis points at 55.9 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at 69.8 and up 40 basis points from yesterday. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $60,835 and up 4.9% from yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been high, at just on plus or minus 3.3%. Join us at 10:45 a.m. this morning when we will be covering the second quarter GDP release. You can find links to the articles mentioned today in our show notes, and you can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. We'll do this again tomorrow.